Spencer Lazara, MMAinterviews.tv, on the phone with Chris Lozano. He's set to take on Lyman Good March 5th at the Bellator Fighting Championships Welterweight Tournament. Give us a little insight on the matchup here, Chris.
Fighting Lyman Good. He's a devastating striker. I also believe myself to be a devastating striker. I believe the reason for me and him being the main event is I believe he and I are both the two most exciting fighters in the tournament. So I think since this is Bellator's first fight on MTV2, I think they wanted to make sure that the fans get a taste of what they can expect for the rest of the time that the view with MTV2. So they put their two most exciting fighters in the main event. So it's gonna be a good one, that's for sure.
How cool is that to be on MTV2? I mean, you guys are going to be broadcast all over the nation, all over the world, and it's just a big stage, you know, definitely with a big demographic watching.
Yeah, it's insane. I definitely wanted to move my career along and I wanted to get to the next level as soon as possible, but I never thought about my sixth fight at fighting on MTV, but by my seventh fight. But it's awesome, and it's a dream come true, and I'm going to do what I have to do to make sure it continues.
Watching some video, I watched your Jason Dent fight, your Yoshida fight. You really have a really good jab. It seems like you like to keep that distance. You're usually the taller guy, I assume. He's about the same height as you, though. And watching him, he seems to like to get inside a lot and do a lot of uppercuts and use his muscle and mass, it seems like. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely. I think he's a good striker, but I think he likes to overpower his opponent. Oh, that's what he's used to doing. I mean, I plan on standing. I plan on, if it was up to me, we'd stand the whole time and give the fans what they're paying for. You know what I mean? The reason why we're the main event is because we're both stand-up fighters, and anybody who knows anything about MMA knows that that's what makes a fighter entertaining, is being on the feet. On the ground is entertaining too if you understand the sport. But for the common fight fan, they want to see two guys standing there going crazy on each other. So, I mean, that's basically what it's going to be, I think, until one of us realizes that the other person is the more dominant fighter on the feet, then it might change. But I think we're both coming in to do the same thing.
So, do you think you consider him your toughest opponent yet?
Yeah, I think I don't think he's the most skilled opponent, but I think he's the toughest opponent because some of his attributes. He's definitely going to be the strongest 170-pounder that I've fought. He's definitely the biggest. He's not the most technical, but I think what he lacks in technique, he makes up for in size and strength.
So do you think you have a wrestling advantage over Lyman, and what about the jiu-jitsu aspect?
I do. I think as far as jiu-jitsu and wrestling, I think I probably got the advantage over Lyman. I know he's been working hard on the ground game because when I saw him in New Jersey, he had some newly developed cauliflower ear, which tells me he's definitely been wrestling and definitely been on the ground. But like I said, I don't think he wrestled through high school or nothing like that, and I did. You know what I mean? And I haven't had a chance to really show my ground and show my wrestling just because of my striking ability. But if it ever comes to it, or when it does come to it, I think people are going to be surprised by my ability.
Do you have any other predictions for any of the other quarterfinal fights?
You know what? The Brent Weidman and Dan Hornbuckle fight is kind of hard for me to call. I'm a fan of Brent Weidman, but I'm pretty cool with Dan Hornbuckle and a fan of his too. I've actually trained with Hornbuckle and had a chance to actually hang out with him and talk to him. He's a pretty cool guy. But man, Weidman, just every time he fights, man, he's just gotten so much better. I watched his last fight, and his stand-up is nice, and his ground is even nicer. So that's a toss-up. I definitely think that Jay Heron walks through this guy that he's got. He's going to overpower this guy. The guy he's fighting is tough, but I think Jay Heron just overpowers him, and the ground beat him by ground and pound. The other fight that's going on in the quarterfinals is the two judo guys. It's Rick Hahn versus Judo Jim. That's a hard fight to call also because they're both super tough, but I got to go with Judo Jim with his experience and just his tenacity. But not taking nothing away from Rick Hahn. Rick Hahn's definitely a beast, but I just think the experience is going to be the factor in that fight.
So give me your thoughts on Ben and how you think of a fighter he is. Obviously a great wrestler, probably not something a guy you want to be under. You'd rather be obviously on the feet.
Absolutely, I think Ben Askren is the best wrestler in MMA right now. I think I think to watch him though is like watching paint dry. I think he's probably the least entertaining fighter in the welterweight division, but he gets the job done with his amazing wrestling ability. And that's my thoughts on him. He's a great wrestler, but as far as a fighter, I'd rather watch the History Channel or something.
What fight do you think you've learned the most from so far in your career? Is there one that stands out?
Definitely the Jason Den fight, and the Yoshiyuku fight. Like, in the Jason Den fight, I learned a lot about. I just gained a lot of experience from that, a lot of cage presence, a lot of understanding. Because before that, I was putting guys away, and then after that, I realized, like, man, these guys don't all just go away like that. But so I learned a lot about fighting and just maintaining yourself. But against Yoshiyuku, I learned that I could compete against some of the best in the world. That definitely taught me a lot about myself.
Yeah, that was actually sort of my next question is, I mean, you beat a guy already, Dent was a tough alum, did okay on that show. Yoshida obviously has wins in the UFC, so that's got to give you a lot of confidence in your skills and feeling like you can go up against anybody and hold your own.
Oh, yeah, that did it. I think, that fight with Yoshiyuku, man, it turned me into it definitely made me a different fighter, man. I think when people see me do this next fight for the rest of my career, they're never going to see the guy that they saw against Jason Dent. They're never going to see that guy again because, I feel it in myself. I feel it in my training. I'm just I've changed. I'm a completely different, more confident guy, more confident fighter.
Talk a little bit about your training camp, who you're training with, some sparring partners, and the gym that you train at.
I train out of Strong Style Martial Arts in Cleveland, Ohio. My coach is Marcus Marinelli, Joe Delguide, Victor Ventruska, and basically, man, all my sparring partners are tough. I'm blessed, man. I got a guy like Forrest Petz, who's a 7-time UFC veteran. He's a sparring partner of mine. I got Brian Rogers, who's fighting on the Strikeforce card March 5th. He's extremely tough. Nick Dool, who people are about to hear about real soon. Big John Hawk. Every now and then, just because she's as tough as she is, I get some rolling in with Jessica I. She walks around probably about 135 pounds, but she's as strong as any dude, man, that I've ever rode with. We're stacked, and Strong Style is definitely the place to be if you're in Ohio and if you can make it out here, man, because just the talent walking around this place will get you ready for anything.
All right, close this out. Give a shout out to your sponsors, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. I want to thank my team, Strong Style Martial Arts, my coaches, Marcus Marinelli, Joe Delguide, Victor Ventruska. They've been huge in my development. I want to thank my main sponsor, Dom Fight Gear. You can check them out at www.domgear.com. Follow them on Twitter at Dom Fight Gear. They got some awesome stuff. I highly recommend their gis also. They got some sweet gis. Check out Boss Wu with MMA Systems. It was because of Boss Wu's MMA Systems that I've learned a lot of things that have helped me get to the level of fighting that I'm at. I want to thank Faction Mouth Guard for hooking me up with a mouth guard. They actually make the molds for the mouth guards. And also Muscle Speed. All my fans. And I want to tell everybody, I want to thank Bellator. I want to tell everybody, make sure you tune in March 5th to MTV2 because it's going to be an epic battle between two guys that don't plan on going to a decision.
All right, Chris, thank you for the time. Like we said, March 5th, MTV2 against Lyman Good, the Bellator Fighting Championships main event. Appreciate the time, Chris, and good luck March 5th.
Hey, man, thank you. I appreciate it.
Godspeed and party on.